what if you don't want to take the vaccine, but they do like a vaccine passport where you like can't travel and you can't go to gyms without being vaccinated?
Yeah.
I think that's a little intrusive because not everybody wants to take a vaccine. Not everybody wants to take it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy how they say, yo, like, you can't travel to all these places without having being fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like, this reminds me of the book 1984.
Yeah.
Because like, aren't we grown adults? Like, can't we make that decision and that risk to get on a...
When it's broken down, it's literally like proving your medical history to do whatever you want to do, which is like, when you think about that, like if you were to have to do that for literally anything else, for any sort of medical procedure or any sort of medical thing, that sounds amazingly intrusive. You know, it sounds crazy. And like when we think about the people where there was not access, I think about this girl I was with, it's like that had MS, that like was terrified of that shot because she has MS and she doesn't know what it could do to her system. And like for people like that have these autoimmune disorders or like things like that, they like can't take it, but it's not a physical disease. Okay, then we say, okay, well if we don't give passes to everybody, let's give them a pass. Well, then you're like, we're still just like making a specific people prove their medical history, which like none of it should be legit. Like that doesn't make sense to me. That's so intrusive. Like the government, yeah.
The other side's argument is like, like, you guys shouldn't be like spreading it. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't want you getting on the airplane and bringing it to all of our people in Florida. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like, what's the fairness level in design that instead of like, I don't think anybody's like rights. I just think that there needs to be like a fair balance where like you can't force us to wear masks, you can't force us to take a vaccine, you can't force us to do this and this and that. You know what I mean? It's like why is all the power in their hands? Because in my opinion, I don't think they're completely right. I don't even think that they're 50% right. Like I think they're right in the sense that there is a disease that's floating around. However, why is all the power in your hands, and why do we have to bend and fold and break our backs for you? Yeah. You know what I mean? Dude, because when I got the vaccine, I had like extreme memory loss and just like fucking like a fucked up head for like weeks.
Damn.
And I just doing shit behind the wheel driving that I normally don't do. I think I'm a pretty safe, slow driver, and I was just like, dude, like I just ran through a red light. Damn. You know what I mean? Just like shit like that. And
all my coworkers were out for a few days every time, like all their shots, like 3 days to a week, they were all out.
And the reason that they're probably like everybody can't move their arm for like days and like 5 days, and like people are like very sick for like such a long time from taking the vaccine. A lot of like the professionals, they say it's because you guys are younger and that's your body, your immune system's so good and it's reacting like that. Why doesn't it react like that when we take the flu shots? Like because the flu shots have been studied well, long term, short term. They've been studied well. They've been broken down and dialed into perfection, in my opinion, because vaccines do fucking work. Mm-hmm. However, with the COVID vaccine, it hasn't, in my opinion, been tested enough. Yeah. Short term, long term, etc. And then there's all these people that are like seriously getting fucked up from the vaccine, and then you're a piece of shit if you don't take it. It's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And it's like, bro, like, why is this like a mandatory asset that you're
I think it's funny, like I've had literally people tell me we do have long-term like tests.
That's
like,
not true.
Because we've tested on so many people, and since the start of it, I was like, that's like, you're telling me that we know the long-term effects of this virus, that we made it, started production, it couldn't have been possibly longer than a year and a half ago, and you're telling me I was like, that's crazy. Why are you saying that? That's crazy.
And not even a year and a half ago, because when did this shit come out? Like January 2020, pretty much. We're in August.
We're like halfway through the year.
But they didn't start working on the vaccine in January 2020. Like, this was like later in the year type shit, like way later on. And I had a conversation with someone because I didn't think it's like all that safe, you know. And then they were like, there's been more people that like they did way more trials on the COVID vaccine than and they like named like a super popular disease. It was like like a measles vaccine or some shit, or like the trials on this. And it's like, I see what you're saying. I don't know if all the data you're saying is true, but my biggest argument is there's not the long 5-year long-term effect monitoring all different age groups, ethnicities,